And we're back. We're back for day 2 of the Adam Montgomery trial.
We could still be able to start at 9.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna confirm that, but that's my hope.
We'll be here.
I just saw that too, Leo. Of course, she sounds like a piece. Well, she is obviously a piece of work, said Sarah Boone. Yes, we meet again for this horrendous case. So I was checking out Twitter, or the artist formerly known as Twitter, during the break. And I won't be able to read this comment because I'll get
Please be seated.
struck.
State may call its next witness.
The state calls Katie Moren.
And I wouldn't say this quite the way this person is saying it, but it sure captures my feelings. Sure does. And I just want to remind you that this is the reason we are all here. This little girl, she's the victim. The defendant is her father. This bitch who walked in the court
I do.
looking like the cock of the walk and is now cowering
There's a
in
microphone
himself.
right in front of you. Just make sure that you're talking into that. Can you start by stating and spelling your full name for the record?
Katie, Katie, Moren, Morin.
And what's your date of birth, Ms. Moren?
6/10/78.
What city and state do you currently reside in?
Laconia, New Hampshire.
And how long have you lived in Laconia?
About 3 years.
How are you presently employed
I work in retail.
in retail? And how long have you done that? How long have you worked in retail?
My whole life, about 20 years, probably.
And what's your highest level of education, Ms. Moren?
GED.
Do you know someone named Adam Montgomery?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell these jurors how you know Adam Montgomery?
We were in a rehab facility together, and then we became romantically involved for a little bit.
Okay, so this is one of Adam's
What
exes.
year would that have been in that you were romantically involved with the defendant, Adam Montgomery?
2021.
And Your Honor, may I?
Yes.
So this is apparently an ex of Adam's that he met in rehab.
And Your Honor, I'm showing the witness what's been published as State's Exhibit 101. Ms. Moore, do you recognize
Yes, I do.
the individual that's there?
Yes, I do.
And who is that individual?
It's Adam Montgomery.
There's this one-dimensional picture of this person who's not here.
Involved with in 2021.
Yes.
Were you aware of whether or not the defendant was married at that time?
I was.
And did he ever tell you anything about his wife?
Not just that they hadn't seen each other in a while.
I'm sure he
Do you
didn't
remember
say good
providing a
things.
statement to an officer with the Manchester Police Department back in February of 2022?
I do.
And that statement was regarding the defendant, is that right?
It was.
Do you think that seeing that statement would refresh your recollection of what the defendant may have said to you about his spouse, about his wife?
No, I recall.
Okay. And what do you recall him saying about his wife?
That she would do anything for him.
That she would do anything for him? During the time that you were romantically involved with the defendant, did he ever discuss his children?
He did.
So you were aware that he had children.
I was.
Was there a particular discussion with the defendant that stood out to you about
Yes.
the children? And
Yeah.
tell us about that.
We were at lunch one day and just talking about our children in general, and he stated that the worst thing that had ever happened or he had done was he walked out of the bathroom and Harmony was suffocating the baby. So he backhanded her I don't know if it was as a reaction, is the way it was told to me, to stop her from suffocating.
So he said he backhanded her.
Yes.
Did he say what the result of that backhand was?
He said he hit her glasses, so she ended up with a black eye.
Did he describe anything about that black eye that you just mentioned?
No.
In that conversation where he discussed causing that black eye, did he say that he had nudged Harmony out of the way?
I don't recall.
He said he backhanded her.
I don't recall his exact verbiage.
Did he ever discuss other children with you?
Yes.
And what were those discussions? What was the substance of those discussions?
He's told me that he had 5 children, all under the age of 7. They all had the same mom. At one point, I asked him to go to Maine with me when I was leaving, and he said he would be too far away from his kids, so he could not.
If I could have just a moment.
So she's corroborating the testimony about the black eye, saying that Adam told her that he gave his daughter a black eye.
No questions, Your Honor.
You may step down.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you all for reminding me. I can't believe I forgot this. That Shonda Vander Ark, one of the trials I covered a few weeks ago, ditched out of court too.
Next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Nicholas Hearn.
So these child abusers end up being the biggest cowards of all. You know that they're the biggest cowards of all because they abuse children, innocent children. They get some sickness in their brain thinking that their children, these children who have special needs or maybe annoying to them or whatever, are deserving, are evil, are inherently bad, so they deserve to be abused. Here comes another witness. Yeah, exactly. Amy Winehouse should have gone to rehab. Well, she did try to go to rehab. She did get clean before she died, but she was still drinking.
Yes.
You can have a seat, make yourself comfortable. Mr. Hearn, can you start by stating and spelling your full name for the record?
Yes, it's Nicholas Ahern, Nicholas. Ahern, Ahern,
Thank you. And Mr. Hearn, what city and state do you live in?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
How long have you lived in Manchester?
My entire life,
How old are you?
34.
Mr. Hearn, what do you do for a living?
I do construction, metal framing, drywall,
Framing and drywall?
Yeah.
How long have you done that?
since I was like 20.
It's 14 years.
Yeah, a long time.
What's the highest level of education you've obtained?
I think it was 11th grade.
And did you get your GED?
No, I went right into the trade.
Do you know someone named Adam Montgomery, Mr. Hearn?
Yes, I do.
Right, Stacy?
Yes.
Here comes the item. The one-dimensional picture of Adam that they have to identify, which is
Mr. Hearn,
just
I'm
so
showing you what's been
cringy.
Published as State's Exhibit 101.
Yes.
Do you recognize that individual?
Yes, that's Adam Montgomery.
And how long have you known Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, that song, that Amy Winehouse song is what we
I
were
wanna say
referring
since I was
to.
like 18. So, yeah. A long time.
Are you aware of him having any children?
Yeah, I know he has a couple.
Are you aware of a daughter?
Yes. Yes,
Have you ever seen his daughter?
yes, once.
Do you know her name?
Harmony.
What can you tell us about that one time that you saw Harmony?
She came out of the house and she had marks on her face, which was a black eye.
Okay, and so let's unpack that a little bit. When you say she came out of the house, what house did she come out of?
I think it was Guilford Street. Yeah.
Is that the house that she lived in? Was that your understanding?
Yes, that's where they lived.
So were you visiting the defendant when you
Yes.
saw Harmony?
Yes.
And what were you doing when Harmony came out of the house?
Just sitting out front talking to Adam.
What time of year was this?
Summertime, I want to say around July.
Do you remember what year?
I think it was 2019.
And let's talk about that injury that you saw. What can you tell the jury about it?
It was a pretty severe injury. At the time, I questioned Adam, what happened. And he told me that she acquired it during a soccer accident. Yeah.
When you say severe injury, what did you see? Can you explain to this jury what made it severe in your opinion?
Her eyes were blackened. Yeah, it was pretty intense in the moment. Yeah,
Was it concerning to you?
it was, but he told me that she acquired it during a soccer accident. I have kids, so I understand, accidents happen. So
Do you know someone named Kevin Montgomery?
yes,
At some point after you saw that injury to Harmony, did you have a conversation with Kevin?
yes, he contacted me.
And I'm not asking you for this substance, just whether or not.
Yes.
And you said he contacted you, is that right?
Yes.
When Harmony came out of the house, about how long did you see her for?
Maybe 4 seconds. It was quick
Why was it quick?
because he told her to go back inside.
And sorry, when you say he told her to go back
Sorry,
inside,
Adam Montgomery told her to go back inside.
can you tell the jury how he told her to get back inside?
He was Adam was forcive. He just basically told her to go in, and he kind of walked her up to the door and shut it.
About how old was Harmony when you saw her that day?
I want to say maybe 5, something like that. 5.
How would you describe her when you saw her come out for those 4 seconds?
She was just standing there, just looking. No real body movement, just standing there.
And when the defendant forcefully told her to go back inside, did she obey?
Yes.
If I could have just a moment.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. No additional questions, Your Honor.
Counsel,
No questions, Your Honor.
you may step down.
And we'd ask that this witness be excused, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No.
You may be excused.
So now we have several corroborating witnesses about bruises, especially a very bad looking black eye on Harmony's face, and she's 5 years old. Sounds like they might be calling a sheriff now. I'm not sure if I heard that correctly. But anyway, they have several corroborating witnesses that Harmony had a black eye. he actually told his lover, girlfriend, whatever, whoever he hooked up with in rehab, that he told her about giving her the black eye. And then this witness, he told, oh, it was just a soccer injury. And that was his friend, so it sounds like he believed him. But now he realizes, well, that now this little girl is dead and Adam's on trial for it. It looks apparently like Adam is the one that gave her the black eye. So he's a witness now.
Sorry, so you're on the, so let me just check the hallway.
Sure.
And he's not even in court to face his charges and his accusers. Yeah, I mean, kids get bruises all the time. They really do. But not all kids get bruises and then end up dead.
Careful with the wires.
Right. So this is a sheriff. So this might be one of the first
Please remain standing
responders.
when you get there for a brief moment. Thank you. Please raise your right hand.
I know,
solemnly
right,
swear that the testimony that you
harlot.
give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. I do. Thank you, sir. Please feel free to have a seat.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Deputy, as we're being recorded here today for the record, would you please go ahead, state your full name and spell both your first and your last name for us?
Paul Montray, Paulmontrey.
Okay. And I bet I already know the answer, but where are you currently employed, sir?
Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. How long have you worked for them?
7 years.
7 years so far. Okay. And with regards to your employment with them, did you ever work in any other sort of law enforcement before working for the sheriff's office?
I started in New York City in 1985, NYPD,
Whereabouts in the city?
Lower Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Okay. How long were you there?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. And after that, any other sort of law enforcement
Town of
experience?
Henniker for 5 years.
Okay.
Merrimack County Sheriff's Office for 20. State for 2. And now I'm here part-time.
And
County.
when you say state for 2, what agency did you work for those 2
Quality
years?
Control DMV.
Okay. And what were some of your day-to-day duties for them?
We basically dealt with trucks and inspection stations.
All right. So with regards to your duties now for the Hillsborough County Sheriffs, you said you're working for them part-time. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So what are your day-to-day duties? What do they look like?
Primarily transporting prisoners to and from the jail and the prison
Okay.
to the courts.
And let me ask you, do you ever, let's say, when did you come back to do part-time again?
2019.
2019. Okay. I want to specifically draw your attention to November 27th of 2019. And on that particular day, I'd like to
Actually,
ask,
2017. Sorry.
2017 is when you
I
came
went
back.
to- yes,
Okay.
yeah.
That's all right. Let me be specific though. Let me steer you to one day in 2019, just before Thanksgiving, November 27th, 2019. Did you help serve or were you present for an eviction notice at 77 Guilford Street in Manchester that day?
I was.
Okay. And I wondered if you could explain a little bit for the jurors, just for an eviction process, what is the role of the deputy sheriff? What are you there to do?
So we have a court order that's evicting whoever's there on the premises. I was a second deputy. I'm assisting the primary deputy. Usually we send 2 guys. And for some reason, I don't know what, his partner was tied up with something else, so they sent me over. And I just assisted with posting the property and having the people leave.
And typically, how long does this process take to do an eviction? Just typically in your experience, I mean.
We usually give them 10 to 15 minutes to get some belongings and skedaddle.
Okay. And on this particular one at Guilford Street, do you have any recollection of roughly how long that took?
Probably 10 to 15 minutes, the ordinary time.
Was there anything about that eviction that necessarily stands out to you, or was it just a very typical eviction for you?
Pretty much the same as all others. There were a lot of clothes around. It was kind of dirty. And there were a couple children there. And there was a male and a female.
And when you say a male and female, and you say male, female, and children, so the male and the female, are they both adults?
Adults, yes.
Okay. And then the children, do you remember how many there were?
I couldn't tell you for sure.
Okay.
There were a couple. I would say at least two, but I can't tell you if there was any more than that.
Okay. Where did they go at the end of the eviction?
They got into their vehicle and they left.
Okay. And with regards to the home, what happens to home when an eviction takes place?
So we post it with no trespass stickers.
Mhm.
And usually the landlord will come and change the locks.
Okay.
I don't recall if there was a landlord there that day. Sometimes they don't show up and we just post it.
And I just want to make sure that I understand on this particular one. I believe you said before, when you do an evictions, it's based upon an order from the court. Is that
Yes.
right? All right. Do you have a copy of that order when you go to do the eviction?
We do. I did not personally have that. That would have been my partner that had the paperwork.
Sorry, I need to get in the mic. Is that a routine practice of being let me try this in English. Is that a routine practice of the sheriff's office to make sure that a copy of that order is in hand before the eviction is done?
In our hand, yeah.
In your hand?
Yes,
Okay. And do you have any reason to believe that's not what happened that day?
not at all.
Just a moment, please, Your Honor. Thank you very much, Deputy. I don't have any further questions for you. Defense counsel may have come.
Okay,
No questions. Thank you.
All right. You may sit down.
thank you, Ron.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You would think, of course, someone with 45,000 subscribers is going to get more in chat than me. I mean, it's fucking so silly. I don't care about numbers. I only care about numbers in as much as it's reaching people, not as a flex, as some sort of reflection on how amazing I am. Oh, Jesus. So that witness was just there to testify about performing the eviction. They were just establishing that an eviction took place from that particular household. And, you know, as we know, after the eviction took place, they were homeless. And that's one of the reasons that made it impossible for, I think, Harmony not to wet herself, not to have accidents, right? Exactly, Harlot. It's silly. Hey, whatever floats your boat, girl.
Sometimes things go more quickly than we think. Oftentimes they go more slowly than we think, but sometimes they do go more quickly than we anticipate. This is one of those times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you take a break as soon as the next witness is ready, and we're ready to take their testimony. We will call you back in. We hope that will be in the next 10 to 15 minutes. All right. So same rules apply, not to talk about the evidence, not with each other or with anybody else. Don't do any independent research, and we will call you back in as soon as we can. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, Megan Hulek says Adam in court. I don't see Adam in court. No, he's not in court. Someone's trolling. So this is funny in terms of.
We're going to need still to have you speak to that witness before we.
Let's hear what they say.
The witness.
Yeah, is he in that wrapped parcel?
Best practice for us to come in and report to answer is so that we could have an answer on which way to proceed.
I think it'll be a quick process.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm just thinking that while we are in that waiting posture, you know, is there anything we can accomplish so that you ask, so you know which question you just need to ask? The only question is whether someone else was there. Do you want to approach for just a minute?
Yes, sir. I have to just say he's here. So would you like us to approach right now, or would you like us to go get that answer and then approach?
Get the answers you need, and then I will wait, and I'll have the court monitor take a break until you're ready. You can take a break. No, you can go off the record. Unless it's just one question, you want to come right back in. Why don't you go ask the question? We'll stay here. If you can stay on the record if you want to take a break. Feel free.
So a lot of you were talking about how quickly, or a few of you were talking about how quickly this trial is going, and apparently it's going so ahead of schedule that they were not ready for the next witness, so they're taking a break so we can chat a little bit. So basically what they're just doing is, you know, having witnesses corroborate that they witnessed abuse. They saw physical signs of abuse. Whether or not they reported it or not, you know, is for anyone's opinion, right? But what they're here to what they're here to testify to is they saw physical signs, evidence of abuse of a child that is now dead. And her father, the one on trial, has admitted to giving her that black eye, right? So they're just laying down a record. Yeah, those are the things that happen, Stacy. Sometimes it's the Streisand effect when you get a lot of attention. Yeah, that's right, Leo. Call Sarah Boone to stuff AM in the suitcase. Yeah, so the last witness was the sheriff, you know, testifying about performing the eviction process. So that's just establishing eviction took place in a specific time and a place. And that actually did happen. And it was after that that they started living in their vehicle. Right. And yes, they do have to bring in more witnesses than someone like Kayla, because Kayla is a convicted liar, right? She was convicted. She was charged for perjury. She got in trouble for committing perjury. So they have to put on other witnesses that corroborate, you know, the types of things that Kayla is going to say. I'm going to go over to the artist formerly known as Twitter right now and see if there's anything interesting there. I hope you all are doing okay and taking care of yourselves and holding up. I'm doing okay, but this is, you know, obviously it's really hard. You know, different cases hit different people in different ways, right? For some people, it's elderly abuse. For some people, it's women. For some people, it's, you know, when there's some sort of disability or whatever, you know, there are reasons that different cases hit hard. Sometimes it's the facts of the case, you know, may not be just above and beyond that the child was abused, how they were abused. And to imagine, thank you very much, Coco. I appreciate that. To imagine a grown man with 5 children under the age of, oh, it looks like they're talking. Hold on.
State's already indicated they're going to be looking to challenge him to the extent that you try to get into any opinions, concerns, findings, any of that.
I don't plan on stepping.
Okay.
So in between
That's
the break,
okay.
when the jury is out, they've been talking about different witnesses and whether to. Thank you, Teresa. Whether to allow a witness. You know, I think the opposing counsel have differing, you know, obviously opinions on who should be called and who shouldn't be called, credible and who isn't.
Everybody thinks we have a good enough understanding of where things stand? Yes? All right.
Please
All right,
reiterate
then
for us,
first.
Judge, so we know. Because the things that they were arguing about
All
before,
rise for the jury, please.
oh, the jury's coming back in. I guess the witness is ready. By the way, anybody who found my coverage of Lana therapeutic, I have a special treat planned coming up. I'm not going to tell you all what it is, but it has to do with her
So
disastrous
after this witness,
old
am I
cow
releasing
court
them and
performances.
Having them come back at 8:45?
45, I anticipate a very full day.
Okay. Counsel, I'm sorry. Attorney Smith, did you hear that?
No closing arguments.
After this witness, we'll be releasing them then for an 8:45 return tomorrow.
Okay, so they just said that they're calling this last witness, and after this witness, they're gonna break for tomorrow, and hopefully all my equipment will be working as soon as I hit send, as soon as I hit go.
All rise for the jury.
I do know that, Lisa. Oh my God, Teresa. You know, if nothing else, hopefully by watching this trial, if she's really planning to stream this trial,
Please be seated.
she'll
The
fucking
state may call
learn
its next
something
witness.
from it.
Turn to the state calls Demetrius Soros.
Demetrius Soros? Soros? No, it's not the stepmom. It's Demetrius. Thank you, Harlot.
And Mr. Soros, you remain standing. Raise your right hand. You swear that the testimony you are about to provide will be the truth and the whole truth and the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
You can make yourself comfortable. Can you start by providing, by stating and spelling your full name for the record?
Yes. My name is Demetrius Soros.
Oh, okay, the D.
First name is Demetri.
Thank you,
OS.
Jose Martinez.
Last name is Tsaros.
And Mr. Soros, I'm just going to ask that you speak as loud as you can.
Thank you. I will.
Mr. Soros, what city do you live in?
I live in Concord, New Hampshire. I apologize. I just moved. Pembroke, New Hampshire.
How long have you been a New Hampshire resident?
All my life.
And what do you currently do for a living?
I am a career level letter carrier for the Postal Service.
The U.S. Postal Service?
Yes.
And how long have you worked in that capacity?
Since September of 2021.
Prior to September 2021, how were you employed?
I was employed as a CPSW, a Child Protective Service worker with the state of New Hampshire for DCYF.
And that acronym that you just gave, CPSW, can you tell the jurors what that means?
Yes, Child Protective Service worker.
How long did you work for DCYF?
Approximately 10 years.
And in your capacity as a caseworker for DCYF, did you have occasion to interact with someone named Adam Montgomery?
I did.
And calling your attention specifically to 2019, the summer of 2019, Did you receive a report regarding Adam Montgomery?
I did.
Are you aware of whether or not he had children?
Not when I first received the report.
Was the report regarding one of his children?
Yes.
Which child was that?
Specifically, it was Harmony.
Harmony Montgomery.
I'm sorry, Harmony Montgomery.
And was that report regarding an injury to Harmony Montgomery?
Yes.
Do you know who made that initial report?
I do not. It was anonymous.
Do you remember specifically when that report was made?
It was July of 2019, towards the end of the month. Specifically, it was either the 19th or the 29th.
Would looking at your report refresh your recollection?
Yes.
The defendant is sitting in his
July
jail
29th,
cell
2019.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, so if you could just turn
being a
that
bitch.
face down.
And sir, I'm just going to ask you to keep your voice up so all the jurors can hear you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And can you tell us that date again? I missed it.
July 29th, 2019.
And what did you do after your involvement on that call began?
I apologize. Could you be more specific?
So you got a report. What did you do after you received that report?
When I received the report, I initiated trying to make contact with the family in order to see them, see the family, see the children, ascertain safety.
And is that generally what you do, or is that what you did in this specific case?
Generally, that was the standard practice.
In this specific case, though, what did you do?
Specifically, tried to initiate contact. I ended up going out to the listed address in an effort to see the family.
Do you recall what that address was?
I believe it was 77 Guilford Street or Guilford Ave.
Tell us about that trip out to the 77 Guilford Street or Ave.
So I drove to the location, and as I pulled up, the location, I noticed a person who I recognized as Adam Montgomery getting into a car.
And let me stop you there.
Yes.
Yes?
So, Mr. Soros, I'm going to show you what's been admitted and previously published. It's as State's Exhibit 101.
Mhm.
Do you recognize the individual that's depicted there?
I do. That's Adam Montgomery.
So, when you said that you recognized the individual getting into a car, I believe,
Yes,
that was this Adam Montgomery?
it was.
Was anyone else present with him as he was getting into that vehicle?
There was a young girl, small girl.
That interaction, your observation of the defendant, Adam Montgomery, and the small girl who was with him, how long was that?
Not very long. Basically, as I was pulling up and getting ready to park, they were getting into the vehicle, and I can't remember exactly how far away I was, 30, 40 feet or so, when I was parking my car, and I observed them getting into the vehicle.
So you're parking your vehicle. Were you outside of your vehicle when you saw him, or were you still inside your
I was
vehicle?
still inside my vehicle.
And this young girl
Speak
that
up,
you saw
sir.
with the defendant, what was she doing?
Um, Nothing really in particular, just, getting into the vehicle, her father helping her into the vehicle. Excuse me. I didn't know if it was her father at the time. The person, Adam, helping her into the vehicle.
Specifically with respect to that small female that you saw, how long were you able to observe her for before she got into the vehicle?
Maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Not a long period of time.
And this was from 30 to 40 feet away?
Correct.
I want to back up for just a moment.
Thank
The
you,
child
cutie
that you were
pie.
going to see, it was a female, is that right?
Yes.
You'll get a cork clip in a minute when we have a break. A special cork clip. I really appreciate that. And welcome to the new members who are
How
gifted
long?
memberships.
Sorry, let me strike that. Were you able to clearly see the child when you were in your car there?
I guess as clearly as I could from that distance.
Did you observe anything about the child other than her gender?
No, just it literally just looked like a small child, a female, getting into a car with someone.
Thank you, Lisa.
How long were they parked there for before they drove away?
Not long. She got into the car. He then got into the car, and they drove away.
You'll get a special cork clip too.
And you said the distance already, but was this on a public road or were they in a driveway or something else?
A public road. They were parked on the side of the road in front of the house that I was going to.
During that home visit, did you interact with a child named Hearn Montgomery?
No.
Why not?
Aside from seeing her at that home visit, because she had left. She was the little girl that got into the car.
Is that something that you learned that day or at a later time?
That day.
While you were at the home attempting to make contact with Harmony, was there anything that drew your attention away as you were approaching the home?
Anything that drew my attention away?
Yes.
Nothing in particular.
Do you recall?
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you recall noting that there was a loud dog that was barking at you?
Yes, there was a loud dog, a large dog barking at me from the property.
And was that before or after the defendant drove away with this young female?
I believe it was after. It was after they left. I approached the property.
So you were unsuccessful in seeing Harmony Montgomery that day?
Correct.
Did you attempt to follow up with the defendant?
I did.
Tell us about those attempts.
That was initiating a phone call and speaking with Adam and trying to arrange a home visit in which I could actually come and see and speak with Harmony.
When were those attempts? You mentioned a phone call. When was that phone call?
I think I would have to look at my notes to refresh my memory, but I believe it was later that day that I spoke with Adam on the phone.
Please do, if you believe that would refresh your recollection.
Yeah, the 5 little kids probably stuffed in the back, parents in the front.
Yes, it was later that day.
Horrible conditions.
Did you also attempt to call the defendant on August 1st?
I again would have to refer to my notes.
Please do.
I did.
Did you speak to the defendant on August 1st?
I did.
What, if anything, did he tell you about Harmony's condition?
I would have to, again, look at my notes for details.
Please do. And just look up when your memory's been refreshed.
This one is crawling along. Yes, he has 5 kids. There hasn't
Do
been
you
given an
recall
excuse
what, if
for why
anything,
he's
the
not in
defendant
court.
told you about Harmony's condition when you spoke to him on August 1st?
The contact I just reviewed, I was speaking to him about setting up the home visit and that he had one of his children was not feeling well and he needed to take him to be seen.
And
So,
during-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So we would not be able to have a home visit and it would have to be rescheduled.
And during that conversation, did he also tell you that he believed that Harmony had the same illness as his other child?
That I don't remember. I don't recall.
Do you think that that reviewing your notes would refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Please do. And Mr. Soros, is your memory refreshed?
Yes. And Adam did say that he believed Harmony now had the same illness or condition that his other child had.
That again was on August 1st.
Yes,
So 2 days after you went out.
correct.
At any point during your response, did you have a face-to-face with Harmony Montgomery?
Could you ask me that again? I'm sorry.
At any point during your response, did you have a face-to-face interaction with Harmony Montgomery?
My response, as far as my following up with the report,
Correct.
I did.
When was that?
I believe it was about a week later. The exact date, I don't remember.
Do you think that reviewing your report would refresh your recollection with respect to the date?
Yes.
Can you please do so?
They conceived when she was in the ceiling. Oh my God.
Yes, it was August 7th, approximately a week later.
Oh God.
What, if anything, did you observe about Harmony's physical appearance when you saw her on August 7th?
Overall, excuse me. Overall, she seemed.
So let me strike that question.
Yes.
Specifically, did you notice any markings or injury to her face?
I did notice a small red mark under one of her eyes and some redness with discoloration
A small red mark.
in the eye that was closest to that.
Did the defendant tell you anything regarding how that injury occurred?
He did. He said that he had bought the kids, 2 younger children, he bought the kids like foam swords or lightsabers and that they were playing with them and that Harmony was struck in the face, in the eye. And that's how she got that mark.
So, Mr. Soros, I want to switch gears and I want to discuss January of 2020. On January 8th of 2020, did you make contact with the defendant?
I believe so. I would like to review my contacts, please.
I'm sorry, could you speak a little more loudly
Yes, ma'am.
and repeat the answer to that question?
I do remember receiving a report then, and I don't remember the exact date and whether I made contact or not.
Would it refresh your recollection to look at your report?
Yes. If may I?
In just a moment,
Yeah.
So feel free to review that and just look up when your memory can.
Yes, it was January 8th, 2020.
And how did that communication occur?
I apologize, meaning how did I contact them?
Yes,
Phone.
you spoke to him on the phone.
Yes.
And what, if anything, during that conversation did he say about Harmony Montgomery?
I believe it was that conversation. I would have to check my notes to make sure because I can't remember if it was that conversation or later when meeting with him that he had told me that Harmony was now living with her biological mother.
Do you recall the specifics of what he said about how she came to be with her biological mother?
He had said that she was having visits with her mother, and again, I'd have to probably look at my notes again, but I believe due to their unstable housing situation that Harmony ended up staying with her mom.
Did you follow up with Crystal?
Thanks for being
Story?
here, Teresa. I said,
I did make an attempt. I called and I believe I left a voicemail.
saw that you're heading off to work. Have a great day.
If I could have just a moment, Mr.
Yeah, this witness is a little bit unbearable because the pace is so slow. He's talking so low. Speaking of, hold on a moment. And also, you know, this is the child welfare worker,
Right, thank you.
the social worker. He might be nervous. Sometimes people's memories go when they're now we can't hear the defense lawyer.
Correct.
And specifically, it was that Adam had caused a black eye.
That was in the report. Someone whomever it was that made the report referred to it as a shiner, which I interpret as a black eye.
And the report was made anonymously, but you knew the person to be Kevin Montgomery.
I did learn that later on.
So that day you went to the residence, the 29th,
Yes.
but it was a very fleeting encounter. Adam and Harmony were getting in a vehicle as you were arriving.
Correct.
So you observed Harmony for all of 10 seconds, right?
Thereabouts. Yeah.
30, 40 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
You were in your car still at the time.
Yes.
But you did have a longer visit approximately a week later, correct?
Yes.
That was August 7th.
Yes.
You went inside the residence.
I did.
And it sounds like you spoke with Adam, but you also spoke with Harmony.
I did.
Your general or preferred practice is to try and meet with the kid alone, correct?
Correct.
But that doesn't always happen.
Correct.
Sometimes there is a parent there.
Sometimes there's a parent there.
That too, Tressa.
Or in the next room.
Or in the next room.
Teresa.
And you don't have any specific recollection regarding whether anybody was present when you spoke with Harmony.
I don't recall that.
But you were able to visually see Harmony, right?
Yes.
And you noticed a little bit of red in her right eye.
I can't remember if it was a right or left eye, but it was one of the eyes.
In one eye, there was some redness.
Yes.
Faded bruising as well.
Yeah, I refer to it as like a faint red mark and then some redness in the eye.
Harmony had her glasses, right?
She did.
She agreed to remove them, right?
Yes.
So that you could look at her.
Yes.
And there's a standard set of questions you ask under these circumstances, right?
I do. I did.
So again, without indicating what the answer was, you would obviously ask her what had happened.
Yes.
And other questions regarding her general safety.
Yes.
aside from the redness in her eye and the faded bruising, you did not observe anything else concerning regarding Harmony's person or well-being.
I did not.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Redirect? Any redirect? That's a painful witness, because not only is he slow as all get out, he's low talking, he's obviously nervous, and he's probably nervous, as people have pointed out, because he failed this girl.
Just one question for you, Mr. Soros. So if I understand correctly, you're not sure whether when you spoke with Harmony, if her father was in the room, in another room, or somewhere else.
Correct. I don't recall that.
Thank you.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, you may step down.
Thank you.
Skylab.
Any objection?
Are you talking about
Students may be excused.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman or something? Who is that? Who you're
Ladies
referring
and
to?
gentlemen, as I said, things moved a little more quickly than the parties anticipated today. So we are going to end a little bit earlier today. It's our hope that we're going to go through with a full day tomorrow. So plan accordingly.
Sitting there.
Get a little, looks like maybe there's a little bit of nice weather this afternoon. So so you'll get a little additional time. But I'll have you come back at 8:45 tomorrow with the hope that we will get started on time at 9 a.m. Okay, so please be back at 8:45 tomorrow. Once again, don't discuss the case, not with anybody, not with each other or with anybody else. Don't do any independent research. Don't drive by the locations. You know, if you happen to drive anywhere along the route we were in the other day, yesterday, don't pay any additional attention that you wouldn't ordinarily pay if you were just on your direct route home. Okay. Once again, I do anticipate that there is media regarding this case. So turn off all the notifications on your phone. Don't look at the newspaper or the local news, please. Maybe focus on international news if that's what you want to do. But please make sure that you are avoiding any newspaper, online, or other media coverage of this case as we continue the trial. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you tomorrow morning.
Rise for the jury.
Okay, so as the jury exits, I'm going to keep this court going a little bit just to see if they talk about anything. But I have a couple special court clips to give out. The first one is to Cutie Pie. If Cutie Pie is still here, and I'm saying she, making a big assumption that that's a she. Here is your.
Maybe seated.
Oh, hold on.
This is, I guess, a good time for us to take up any housekeeping matters if we have any, in the hopes that, and
Any housekeeping?
I don't know, maybe as you look at the witness lists.
Witness list housekeeping? Witness scheduling housekeeping? I think what happened is the state anticipated that the defense would have more questions
Absolutely.
on cross-examination, and they didn't, and that's how they scheduled things. And the you identify as Pie. That's cute, Cutie Pie. I like your screen name, Cutie Pie. It's very cute. All right, they're going up to the. All right, so let's pick out some special. All right, this one has some profanity, and it's very, very silly, but this one's for you, Cutie Pie. I hope you're not offended.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
Nathaniel Saxon, sir.
Your name's not Buttfucker 3000, you yo-ho. What kind of idiot logs into court like that?
Your name's not Buttfucker 3000, you yo-hole. Oh my God, man! Some of these because the context is so funny for people to be acting like this in court. Okay. So that one was for, oh, you saw it when it aired? Good. Well, that was just a special clip for you, cutie pie. This next one is for Lisa Oldham's, if she's still here, for her $9.99 super chat. Let's just all remember the badass who thought she was going to beat everybody in court and then didn't.
Because I'm going to beat every single one of you guys in court. It's going to happen. And guess what? I'm doing it pro se. And I'm going to love every single minute of it.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Let's stop saying we're going to get there and just get there.
In March of 2000, I'm trying to be classy for you, Miss Jade. All right, now, here we go. You just said on the record.
I don't understand, since both of you do true crime and you follow court, how either of you think this is proper.
Doing this right because it's mentally stressful, right?
So then I would have to shut down the internet.
No, you don't have to shut down the internet because they can talk about me all they want. Oh, and I'm sorry. I can't go back.
It's not my fault that you forgot half your case.
Oh my God. It's not my fault that you forgot half your case. Oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, that judge needs to do some self-examination about her courtroom control. You know, I watched Elisa Stephens. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her last name. There was like a court outburst when she was sentenced to life without parole, and that judge shut that shit down so fast. I kind of want to show it to you all because it's pretty. I mean, this is the way it should be done, y'all. This is the way it should be done. Hold on, let me grab it here. Because man, what's her name? Damn, I put it wrong in the does anybody remember that girl's name? Elisa Stefanik something. Man, it's a funny clip because the judge just shuts everybody down and just says, Stefanik. No. Oh, okay. I'm not finding it. Oh, thanks for the super sticker, Stacy. You get a court clip too. Let's find a fun court clip for you. I'm looking for a good court clip. How about this one?
Something really wrong is going on. Mr. Kirkland, you are out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order.
All right, that wasn't real court. Oh, Stefanik. No, Lisa Stefanik is a politician. That's what I had wrong too. Thank you very much, Stacy, for the super sticker. You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole card is out of order. All right. So that's pretty much it for today. We saw several witnesses. They went by fairly quickly. We saw the foster mom, the first foster mom testify. We saw Crystal, the bio mom testify. We saw Adam's uncle testify. And we saw the sheriff who did the eviction. We saw Adam's ex-girlfriend or mistress, or I'm not sure what it exactly to call her, but she testified that that Adam told her he gave Harmony a black eye. To me, it appears that there's a lot of corroborating evidence that he was severely abusive to a 5-year-old girl. And imagine, when she died, she was 5. And I think he had her for like a year, 2 years or something like that before he killed her, allegedly. Imagine what was going on up until then when she was 3 and 4. And I'm being asked if I have watched Cyber Sleuths. Yes, I just watched it. And I was disappointed. And I was probably not disappointed for the same reasons that other people might think I'm disappointed. So for those of you who don't know, Cyber Sleuths is a Paramount Plus docuseries that just came out. It's really just a little kind of mini series. It's just 3 episodes, and it's talking about some creators on here, tragedy pimps. We call them tragedy pimps. They call them cyber sleuths. And the entire issue I have with the series is that it really doesn't accomplish much. It was really just a visual representation of the Vanity Fair article that was written last year. That's really all it was. And they heavily depended on the Vanity Fair reporter who did so much of the reporting to tell a lot of the story. So it was clear that they basically took that Vanity Fair article and just followed that. They focused completely on Idaho 4. And I do think, what they were trying to do is show that, cyber sleuths are one way. They don't have any standards really to go by except their own willingness to have some sort of ethical trade in how they present their information. But they create a lot of misinformation. They will respond to trolls as if they are real and things like that. Right. And then, so they have both the cyber sleuths on there, and then they have real journalists there, from Vanity Fair, from CBS. They had a retired Moscow police department guy there who was a little bit funny. So they try to really show this is how it's done now, and this is how things should be done. And they actually did show the criminal records of Jonathan Lee Riches and Bullhorn Betty, which is fine, which is great. But they really didn't go deep into it. And a very, very big disappointment for me is that every time these types of series come out or articles come out, they don't talk about the role of the platforms in, they talk about how people make money doing this, right? And that there's an incentive to be more salacious and stuff like that. But they don't say why there's an incentive to be more salacious. It's because the entire internet system is based on people getting attention. So the people without any moral compass will get attention in any way possible by outright lying. And they touched on conspiracies, right? Conspiratorial content is YouTube's and social media's bread and butter. They get so much play, so much money out of conspiratorial content. And it's because, and therefore, creators or, YouTubers who are willing to make up conspiracies just for content get the attention and they get the money. And it's just a completely warped, backward incentive type of system, and nobody is pointing that out. I mean, it has been pointed out by some, but it hasn't, in the context of the mainstream media reporting about true crime sleuths, that hasn't been brought to task. And that's what bothers me about it. I do plan to do a Checkmate Humanity video about cyber sleuths. I'm not sure when I'll be able to get it out. I was trying to get it out this week, but we'll see. So, Yeah, and that's all we could do, Lisa, is, there's what they say, and then there's other people like me and others, many, many others, who will balance the scale out and bring a different perspective. But the fucked up thing about it is that the ones who, with the skewed perspective, who just have the ability to get more attention by being outrageous and horrible, are the ones who are seen more. Their perspective is given more play on social media and by the algorithm. And so it's like you have to be this wild combination of willing to be totally outrageous, but not outrageous enough to cross all kinds of lines that are supposed to be drawn, but nobody seems to recognize. So, I was disappointed in it. I don't feel like it really takes the conversation that much further than the Vanity Fair article already took it. And yeah, it makes everybody else look bad. And also the other thing to recognize is that, whereas people might go, oh, look, they were made to look somewhat not great in this documentary, that means that people will stop supporting them. Sorry, it goes the opposite way. They were now given, the signal was sent to them to get more views. And it doesn't mean that those views agree. It doesn't mean that those views or those subscribers like the person. It's just that, hey, that person is outrageous. I like watching outrageous content. And here we go. Right. I just heard a noise in the courtroom. Oh, no, that's just another, sorry. A whole other thing coming up. It was a whole other trial coming up. I'm just going to bail out of this here. So anyway, that's my take on that. If you don't, I'm going to put the link to my other channel in chat here. Because I do talk about these tragedy pimps, and I'm very active on my community tab. I do sometimes I put thoughts of the day. And I talk a lot about how this system, this social media internet system it's like a narcissism. It's a narcissism. It's like narcissistic abuse by an invisible troll that we all can't see, but is playing a very, very, very active role in our experience online. And then it affects our ability, because of some of our experiences online, it affects our ability to really function in the real world sometimes because of how we're affected. And yes, and that was the one of the last things I posted recently, is that Seeking the Truth with Dave, his channel has been taken down. And that is that is telling you that Seeking the Truth with Dave, just go to my community tab when you have a moment and you'll read about him. Absolutely just tragedy pimped the Watts case to the hilt, absolutely to the hilt, and was finally taken down. And so YouTube does recognize these things, but it takes them a long time. Sometimes it takes YouTube as long as a court, a trial to take place. Something might get on their radar, but it takes them a while to investigate it and just make a final decision to yeet a channel, right? Yes, Cutie Pie, my email is disorderinthecourt2@gmail.com, or you can send it to checkmatehumanity@gmail.com. So I will endeavor not to have technical difficulties tomorrow morning, such that I'm not late. And, I'll schedule this to start, and then we can all get together. And yes, please hit the like button. Consider joining. I've been posting the links, and consider making a private donation via PayPal or Cash App. Thank you. Thank you for the everybody being so respectful in chat. please take care of yourselves. Thank you for the super chats and the membership gifting and all of that. And also remember, Alex Erickson is doing recaps every day on her channel. She was on my channel yesterday. That's funny, Bogart. And so that would be a good place to get some trial recap, trial day recap on Alex's channel, and get her perspective. She's always able to find a bunch of really interesting inputs and articles from around the web. So it's really helpful. I always learn from her streams. So thanks everyone for being here, and I will see you tomorrow. I love ya. Tomorrow. You're always a day away. All right. See you later.